Chapter 7 The Descendants of Issachar. Issachar was the father of 4 sons, Tola, Puah, Jeshub, and Shimron. Tola was the father of Uzzi, Rephiah, Zeriel, Jamai, Ibsam, and Shemer, who were all brave soldiers and family leaders in their clan. There were 22,600 people in Tola's family by the time David became king. Uzzi was the father of Izrahiah and the grandfather of Michael, Obadiah, Joel, and Ishiah, who were also family leaders. Their families were so large that they had 36,000 soldiers in their clans. In fact, according to family records, the tribe of Issachar had a total of 87,000 warriors, the descendants of Benjamin and Dan. Benjamin was the father of 3 sons, Bela, Becher, and Jediah. Bela was the father of Esbon, Uzzi, Uzziel, Jerimoth, and Eri. They were all brave soldiers and family leaders in their father's clan. The number of soldiers in their clan was 22,034. Becher was the father of Zemarah, Joash, Eleazar, Elioenai, Omri, Jeremoth, Abijah, Anathoth, and Alemeth. The official family records listed 20,200 soldiers in the families of this clan, as well as their family leaders. Jediah was the father of Bilhan and the grandfather of Jeush. Benjamin, Ehud, Kenana, Zethan, Tarshish, and Ahishahar. They were family leaders in their clan, which had 17,200 soldiers prepared to fight in battle. Er was the father of Shuppim and Huppim, who also belonged to this clan. Dan was the father of Hushim, the descendants of Naphtali. Naphtali's mother was Bilhah, and he was the father of Zahiel, Gunni, Zezer, and Shalom. The descendants of Manasseh. Manasseh and his Syrian wife were the parents of Azriel and Machir, the father of Gilead. Machir found a wife for Huppim and one for Shuppim. Machir had a sister named Maacah. Zelophehad was also a descendant of Manasseh, and he had 5 daughters. Machir and his wife Maacah were the parents of Peresh and Sheresh. Peresh was the father of Ulam and Rakem. Ulam was the father of Bedan. These were all descendants of Gilead, the son of Machir and the grandson of Manasseh. Gilead's sister Hammoleket was the mother of Ishhod, Abiezer, and Mahlah. Shemada, Ona, the descendants of Manasseh, was the father of Ahian, Shechem, Likhi, and Aniam. The descendants of Ephraim. Ephraim was the father of Shuthelah and the ancestor of Bered, Tahath, Eleada, Tahath, Zabad, and Shuthelah. Ephraim had 2 other sons, Ezer and Elead, but they were killed when they tried to steal livestock from the people who lived in the territory of Gath. Ephraim mourned for his sons a long time, and his relatives came to comfort him. Some time later, his wife gave birth to another son, and Ephraim named him Beriah, because he was born during a time of misery. Ephraim's daughter was Shira. She built the towns of Lower Beth-horon, Upper Beth-horon, and Uzen Shera. Ephraim also had a son named Repha, and his descendants included Reshep, Tela, Tahan, Ladan, Amihud, Elishama, Nun, and Joshua. The descendants of Ephraim took over the territory as far south as Bethel, as far east as Naran, and as far west as Gezer. Their territory included all the villages around these towns, as well as Shechem, Aiah, and the nearby villages. The descendants of Manasseh settled in the territory that included Bethshan, Tahanak, Megiddo, Dor, and the nearby villages. The descendants of Joseph lived in these towns and villages. The descendants of Asher. Asher had four sons, Imnah, Ishbah, Ishbi, and Beriah, and one daughter, Sarah. Beriah was the father of Heber, and Malchiel the father of Birzaiah. Heber was the father of three sons, Japhlet, Shomer, and Hotham, and one daughter, Shua. Japhlet was the father of Pashak, Bimhal, and Ashbath. Shomer was the father of Ahi, Rogar, Hubah, and Amram, and Japhlet's brother Otham was the father of Zophah, Imnah, Shelesh, and Amar. Jophah was the father of Shua, Harnefer, Shual, Beri, Imra, Bezer, Hod, Shammah, Shelsha, Ithran, and Viera. Jether was the father of Jephunneh, Pispa, and Ara. Ulla was the father of Ara, Haniel, and Rizia. These were the descendants of Asher, and they were all respected family leaders and brave soldiers. The tribe of Asher had a total of 26,000 soldiers. Chapter 8 More descendants of Benjamin. Benjamin had five sons, who were born in the following order: Bela, Ashbel, Ahara, Nohar, and Rapha. Bela was the father of Adar, Gera, Abihud, Abishua, Naaman, Ahoha, Gera, Shephuphan, and Phulam. Ehud was the father of Naaman, Ahijah, and Gera. There they were clan leaders in the town of Geba, but were later forced to move to the town of Manahath. And Gera led the way. He had two sons, Uzzah and Ihud. Shaharaim and his wife Hushim had two sons, Abitub and Elpal, but Shaharaim later divorced her and his other wife Baara. Then they moved to the country of Moab and married Hodesh, and they had seven sons: Zobab, Zibiah, Mesha, Malcham, Jeus, Shakia, and Mirma. They were all family leaders in his clan. Elpal was the father of Eber, Misham, and Shemet, who settled the towns of Ono and Rod, as well as the nearby villages. Beriah and Shema were family leaders in the clan that lived in the town of Aizalon and that forced out the people of Gath. Beriah's descendants included Ahio, Shashak, Jeremoth, Zebadiah, Arad, Eder, Michael, Ishpa, and Joah. Elpar's descendants included Zebadiah, Meshullam, Hizki, Heber, Ishmerai, Isliar, and Jobab. Shimei's descendants included Jakim, Jikri, Jabdi, Elienai, Zilethai, Adaiah, Beriah, and Shimrath. Shashak's descendants included Ishpan, Eber, Eliar, Abdon, Zikri, Hanan, Hananiah, Elam, Anthothiah, Ifthea, and Penuel. Jeroam's descendants included Shamsherai, Shehariah, Athaliah, Zareshiah, Elijah, and Zikri. These were the family leaders in their ancestors' clan, and their descendants lived in Jerusalem. Jair settled the town of Gibeon. He and his wife Maacah lived there along with their sons, who were born in the following order: Abdon, Zur, Kishbal, Ner, Nadab, Kedor, Ahio, Zecher, and Miklos, the father of Shema. Some of them went to live in Jerusalem near their relatives, the descendants of King Saul. Ner was the father of Kish and the grandfather of King Saul. Saul had four sons: Jonathan, Malchishua, Abinadab, and Eshbal. Jonathan was the father of Meribal, the grandfather of Maacah, and the great-grandfather of Pithon, Melech, Teriah, and Ahaz. Saul's other descendants were Jehodah, Alemeth, Asmaveth, Zimri, Moza, Benaiah, Rapha, Eleazar, Azer, as well as Azer's 6 sons, Azrikam, Bokeru, Ishmael, Shariah, Obadiah, and Hanan. Azer's brother Ezek was the father of Ulam, Jeushi, and Eliphelet. Ulam's sons were brave soldiers who were experts at using a bow and arrows. They had a total of 150 children and grandchildren. All of these belonged to the tribe of Benjamin. Chapter 9. The people who returned from Babylonia and settled in Jerusalem. Everyone in Israel was listed in the official family records that were included in the history of Israel's kings. The people of Judah were taken to Babylonia as prisoners because they sinned against the Lord. And the first people to return to their towns included priests, Levites, temple workers, and other Israelites. People from the tribes of Judah, Benjamin, Ephraim, and Manasseh settled in Jerusalem. There were 690 people from the Judah tribe who settled in Jerusalem. They were all descendants of Judah's 3 sons, Perez, Shelah, and Zerah. Their leaders were Uthai, Asaiah, and Zeuel. Uthai was the son of Amihud and a descendant of Omni, Imri, Bani, and Perez. Asaiah was a descendant of Shelah. Jeuel was a descendant of Zerah. There were also 956 family leaders from the Benjamin tribe who settled in Jerusalem. They included Salu, son of Meshullam, grandson of Hodaviah, and great-grandson of Hassenuah, Ibniah, son of Jeroham, Elah, son of Uzzi, and grandson of Mikri, Meshullam, son of Shephatiah, grandson of Ruel, and great-grandson of Ibnijah. The priests who settled in Jerusalem. Here is a list of priests who settled in Jerusalem: Jedaiah, Jehoiarib, Jachin, Azariah, who was a temple official and whose ancestors included Hilkiah, Meshullam, Zadok, Meraiot, and Haitop, Adaiah, son of Jeroham, whose ancestors included Pashur and Malchijah, Maasai, son of Adiel, whose ancestors included Zerah, Meshullam, Meshulemith, and Immer. There was a total of 1,760 priests, all of them family leaders in their clan and trained in the work at the temple. The Levites who settled in Jerusalem. Here is a list of Levites who settled in Jerusalem. Shemaiah from the Merari clan, whose ancestors included Hashub, Azrikam, and Hashabiah, Bakar, Heresh, Galal, Mattaniah, son of Micah, whose ancestors included Zikri and Asaph. Obadiah, son of Shemaiah, whose ancestors included Galal and Jeduthun. Berechiah, son of Asa, and grandson of Elkanah, who had lived in the villages near the town of Netophah. The temple guards who settled in Jerusalem. Shalom, Akub, Talmon, Ahiman, and their relatives were the guards at the temple gates. Shalom was the leader of this clan, and for a long time they had been the guards at the king's gate on the east side of the city. Before that, their ancestors guarded the entrance to the Levite camp. Shalom, son of Korah, as well as the other men in the Korahite clan, guarded the entrance to the temple, just as their ancestors had guarded the entrance to the sacred tent. Phinehas, son of Eleazar, had supervised their work because the Lord was with him. Zechariah, son of Meshelemiah, was also one of the guards at the temple. There was a total of 212 guards, all of them listed in the family records in their towns. Their ancestors had been chosen by King David and by Samuel the prophet to be responsible for this work, and now they guarded the temple gates. There was one full-time guard appointed to each of the 4 sides of the temple. Their assistants lived in the villages outside the city, and every 7 days a group of them would come into the city and take their turn at guard duty. The four full-time guards were Levites, and they supervised the other guards and were responsible for the rooms in the temple and the supplies kept there. They guarded the temple day and night and opened its doors every morning. The duties of the Levites. Some of the Levites were responsible for the equipment used in worship at the temple, and they had to count everything before and after it was used. Others were responsible for the temple furnishings and its sacred objects, as well as the flour, wine, olive oil, incense, and spices. But only the priests could mix the spices. Matithia, Salam's eldest son, was a member of the Levite clan of Korah, and he was in charge of baking the bread used for offerings. The Levites from the Korahath clan were in charge of baking the sacred loaves of bread for each Sabbath. The Levite family leaders, who were the musicians, also lived at the temple. They had no other responsibilities because they were on duty day and night. All these men were family leaders in the Levite tribe and were listed that way in their family records. They lived in Jerusalem. King Saul's family. This is also told in 1 Chronicles 8:29 to 38. Jair had settled the town of Gibeon, where he and his wife Maacah lived. They had 10 sons, who were born in the following order: Abdon, Zur, Kish, Baal, Ner, Nadab, Gedor, Ahio, Zechariah, and Mikloth, the father of Shemaiah. Some of them went to live in Jerusalem near their relatives. Ner was the father of Kish and the grandfather of King Saul. Saul had four sons: Jonathan, Malchishua, Abinadab, and Ashbal. Jonathan was the father of Meribal, the grandfather of Micah, and the great-grandfather of Pithon, Melech, Tariah, and Ahaz. The descendants of Ahaz included Zerah, Alemeth, Asmaveth, Zimri, Moza, Binea, Rephaiah, Elisa, and Azer, and his 6 sons: Ezrikam, Boker, Ishmael, Shariah, Obadiah, and Hanan.